Now it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up and I'm dressed, believe it or not, and I'm just switching my computer on. There it is there with all my messy notes. I probably should have tidied up before I started doing this, but I'm not going to, because today is a writing day. And by that I mean I absolutely have to crack some words out today because I have been away for 3 days. I'm getting a little bit behind on my word count. And this book needs to be in October. So today is going to be writing all day, as opposed to one of the other types of author days, which are my speaking days. So this is what I do with a day. First things first, kettle on, tea bag. Right, so kettle's boiled. While that was boiling, the plan usually in the morning is to do some stretches, a little bit of weightlifting, just general exercise, because when you're a writer and you're sat on your bum all day, you can get a little bit wider than perhaps you might want to be. Obviously I haven't done that this morning. I've been procrastinating instead. I've put some washing on, I've emptied the dishwasher, and just generally faffed around with a few things that I really shouldn't have been doing, because as I said, I've got those words that need cracking out. But before I do that, actually I need to get my head back into where I was before 3 days ago. So I'm going to sit on the patio with my plot, which is here, because fortunately this particular book I have absolutely plotted inside out before I started writing. And I'm going to read through my plot again and just check mentally where I was before I actually start writing. Otherwise I'll end up feeling like I have to go back to the beginning and reading all of the words I've already written, which is just going to set me back 24 hours. So yeah, thank heavens for plots today. Okay, so after faffing around for a bit, I am now at my computer. It's a standing desk, which I find, well, in theory, is supposed to help keep me fitter, although I do occasionally end up on the stool that I brought through from the kitchen, which I'm not supposed to be sitting on. Anyway, so I've got my big screen here, and I'm lucky because it is a big screen. My dad gave it to me several years ago, and it means that I can have my manuscript up and my research next to it, which is great. So over here behind me I've got a whiteboard which has got the timeline of the World War II history on it and the various points that the book needs to hit. So that's just to remind me of my research. I'm currently looking up the latest version of my book, because obviously you need your book but you also need it backed up. So I've got the main computer version on that, and then I've got a backup hard disk, and it's onto that as well, and it's saved onto the Dropbox, which is great, but you always have to make sure you're working with the most up-to-date version of your manuscript. And that's what I'm just checking at the moment. I'm checking that the one that I'm opening matches in timeline with all the others, and I'm making sure that it's the same size as all the others, so that I haven't actually missed out on some words I've already written, which would be a bit of a disaster. So that's what I'm going to do at the moment, and then I'm obviously going to open it up and I'm going to start working on it. Right, I'm glad I checked, because actually before I left to go and visit family a few days ago, I had actually done some work on my laptop en route, and I had actually written another 1,000 words, which wasn't updated on this main computer. So I am now just saving that across now to make sure that all of my versions are identical. It would have been a shame not to have those 1,000 words, so I'm really glad I did check. And yes, if anyone has noticed, I do actually have a carving of a giraffe behind my door. My brother gave me that, he's ever so clever, and it's there cheering me on, so that's really nice. Okay, so that's all updated, and now I'm actually going to do some writing. Time to put my screen glasses on. If the family wake up, come downstairs, start making a noise, then obviously I've got my headphones and I shall be listening to, I've trained myself to write to Vivaldi's Four Seasons, but obviously if you're a writer you can pick any music you like. I love the fact that it is classical music, and so there's no lyrics with it, so none of the words from it will actually get into what I'm writing, and not pull me out of my creative zone. I started using that during COVID, listening to that, and I was able to sort of tune lots of things out. So it is possible to train your brain to be able to be creative. And sometimes now, if I actually put Vivaldi on, I'm kind of thinking, oh, I need to be writing. So it's a good way to sort of snap into the writing zone. Anyway, so now I'm going to write, hopefully for a couple of hours, and you don't need to watch me doing that. Okay, so 2 hours have passed, in which I've written 500 words, which is not nearly enough, but they are 500 really good words. And I'm now going to take a little break, pot around and do some jobs. So I've got some washing up to do, I've got some washing to hang up, but those are jobs that I can do while still processing the chapter, so that when I get back to the computer, I can actually bash out the rest of the chapter with a much better structure. Now, the critical thing not to do is don't go on social media, don't read the news, and don't check my emails, because all of those will actually take me out of the headspace of the book, and I've worked quite hard to get into that. And yeah, I mean, reading the news is just going to stress me out. Social media is a waste of time. I mean, it is a time waster rather than a waste of time. There are obviously reasons why people do it. And my emails, well, that's just going to give me other jobs to do. So yeah, it's important I stay in the zone, and hopefully once I've done my jobs, I will also then manage to extend the chapter further. The important thing is to not give myself a hard time over this. Another 2 hours have passed, and I have actually managed to write about 1,000 words now, which is great. So things are really starting to flow. Got myself into the zone, and the chapter's shaping up really nicely. However, it is now 12:30 and I'm starving. I've not eaten all day, which is daft, but it's just the way it is. And there's no food in the house because I only just got back late last night. I haven't been shopping. Ever since I got up this morning, I've been writing. But I do have a trusty tin of soup and a microwave. So I'm going to have some lunch, and all the time I'm eating, I'm probably going to be processing the conversation that my characters are having. And afterwards I need to get back to work because I've got one of my characters in a very sticky situation with an enemy patrol, and she needs rescuing. So I better get on with that. It's nearly 4 o'clock and I've added at least 3,000 words to my manuscript. So as far as writing's concerned, it's been quite a productive day. There's still more that I could say, but I'm going to stop now, because probably one of the best tips I had was, in fact, to stop writing when you still have more to write, because then it's a lot easier the next day to pick up where you left off. And it's a good way to have a sustainable practice over a number of days that way. So I'm going to call it a day in terms of writing and get on with all the other jobs that I've put aside today in order to try and move my manuscript forward. So obviously I'm going to answer emails now, make some phone calls, say hello to my husband. And yeah, that's pretty much a writing day for me when I'm in the middle of producing a new manuscript. I hope that's useful.